Windows.
Windows are the eyes to the house.
To the soul of your house. My soul is dark and on the floor at the moment. Most people think about windows as an afterthought. Oh yeah, put one here, put one there. But they are a major part of your layout. Before you start buying furniture or laying out your kitchen cabinets, you need to know where your windows are going, what kind you're gonna get, what they're looking at. If you haven't laid out your windows properly, it doesn't matter the finishes that you've chosen, the furniture layout, the paint colors. They'll look funny. Or worse, your windows are put in the wrong place, so they're in the way. They give you no room for a TV or a bed. Your furniture won't fit or doors won't open fully. So planning your windows will change the way your house functions. When you're shopping for windows, you got to know the lingo. So there's single hung, double hung, awnings, casements. This is a casement, it cranks out. Awning cranks out this way. Double hung, both sashes move. Single hung, only the bottom one moves. Picture windows, like those big suckers back there, they don't open. They're just no airflow, just glass. I think that's it. And sliders, there you go. Those are pretty much, every window falls into those categories. Transoms above, that's a picture window. No airflow, same thing. So know your taste. Do you want it to look very traditional? Do you want it to have divided lights? Do you want it more contemporary? Do you want the rails and the stiles to be skinnier, to give you more glass exposure? Do you want them to be fatter? Those are all kinds of choices, depending on the line and the brand of windows that you choose. Like these are Marvin's Elevate. They're the Hurricane line. They're nice windows. Fiberglass and the wood on the inside, you're gonna get anything from vinyl, aluminum, fiberglass, fiber something. I saw Anderson's calling their 400 series. These are Marvin's Elevates. They meet the Miami-Dade Hurricane standards. That's something you need to consider. Where do you live? What's the weather like? When I lived in New York in Breezy Point, if you got a casement window, windows that crank open like that, and you left it and went to the beach, you can be sure when you got home, that hinge was broken, there was sand in it, and you would have to push it closed to lock it every winter. So casements in Breezy Point weren't really a good choice with the wind. What's your weather like? Do you have wind? Do you have hurricane? Are you in California? Have to meet the energy code standards. It's wise to consider your weather when you're buying your windows and how they're going to perform. Windows are not a place you want to save money. They're long-term. They're hopefully in there for 20 years if they're good windows. We added windows in these two bathrooms here that weren't before. It's a different space. A little hint of daylight makes all the difference. We all want our house to look big and beautiful and bright, and I'm sitting in consultations doing lighting plans where we're adding fixtures and recessed lights like crazy. But you have to consider Mother Nature first. When you are doing your floor plan, your layout with your architect, your engineer, with your designer, you got to look at the windows. Nothing's more important than where you place your windows. It will affect everything else in the house. The finishes you choose, the paint colors, the furniture, and how you can lay it out is all affected by where you put your windows. What's the architecture of your house? What's the design style? It wouldn't be appropriate to get a cute cottage style window with lots of little muntins and divided lights. These are the divided lights. This is the muntins. That's the division between the lights. And put that in the contemporary, sleek, stucco-filled, it just doesn't work. So what is the architecture of your house? What's appropriate? And how do you want those windows to work? This is a casement window, but it looks like a traditional double hung window. What do you want your window to look like? How do you want it to function? And what's it going to look at? And once you've figured out what style is appropriate to your house, like in this house, double hung, could work. Casement, could work. Awnings could work. We're kind of in that 1970s, we don't know what style it is. So I've got a little bit of everything. I've got some picture windows, some awning windows, some casement windows, and a double hung or two. When I start laying out a house and designing a house, the first thing I want to think about is, what do we got to look at? Where are your neighbors? Where's the sun? What do you want to see every day when you're having coffee? What don't you want to see when you're sitting on the couch in your PJs? So start to think about what's outside you and what you want to bring in and what you want to keep out. If you have a magnificent view, a lot of homes are built because of the view. So if that's the deciding factor, you need to know that first. We're orienting everything to the mountains, everything to the ocean. Now, if you got this magnificent view and you're throwing up a wall of glass, you got to think about how much wall space you need. You're putting a TV up there, hanging some pictures of the kids, need a door to the outside, a place to put kitchen cabinets. You have to consider your wall space versus your window space. Now, if you don't have a magnificent view, but you just got regular windows, you still want to think about what you're going to see outside those windows. You can see here, I'm in the closet of the room next to it. So this is the room here, and that's the window. If I had moved that window down this way, look what's outside she would have been looking at. Now, just pretty trees. Am I going to see the street? Am I going to see my favorite bush? Am I going to see the ugly shed or the AC unit? But I moved it over. Oh no, we would have been looking at that ugly thing. By keeping it here, this is the view. Look at that. Use your imagination. When the old window was here, I was peeking my head to imagine that this window would have a perfect view of the Ritz-Carlton. And it worked. Think about having coffee in the morning. Do you want to have that in a sun-filled eastern window? Or do you want to have it on the west side that's going to be darker until the afternoon? If you consider the way that the light works in your neighborhood, how the light changes, like these front windows here, in the winter months, the sun is blazing in here because the sun is much lower. In the summertime, I don't need to close the curtains to protect myself from the blazing, I don't need to close the whatever. The window's size, shape, and its direction is going to control how much light you get, how much breeze you get if you actually open your windows. Where you place the windows can affect the feeling inside the house, both visually and physically. So it can change the way you feel when you add a window. It makes you smile. It can also increase the temperature or bring heat in the winter months. So you want to consider your environment, your needs, and plan appropriately. We don't use Mother Nature enough in our planning. Where the sun's going to be at the time of day you might be using that room, and maybe you can plan your house accordingly. Sometimes it doesn't work out, we're stuck with the lot we got, but you can be smart about it. That's the eastern side of my house. That's breakfast. That's coffee. Over here is west, less windows. This is TV. This is quiet, private time. Plan the windows and the light based on how you want to use the space, how you want it to be lit. You can find windows that fit every style, from super contemporary and sleek, every different color frame. If you want to get into the more expensive fiberglass, you can do black and blue. I saw these Marvin windows in a beautiful navy blue. Windows are a big chunk of the budget, and they should be. You're going to have them for a long time. You touch them, you open them, you expect them to protect you from the elements. Get good windows and keep them clean. I have a lot of clients that are doing barn dominions, and they've got these big, crazy trapezoid windows going up entire walls. Some older homes with a traditional Palladian window with the half round over the top. Think about your window treatments before you choose a window. I can tell you, there is a lifetime of regret from many people with those arch top windows and those hideous paper fan shades. If the light's coming straight in there, make sure that if you need to, you can dress that window, and think about how you're going to dress that window. I work with Suzanne from This Life We Live on her lighting plan, and one of the things she was doing with these big trapezoid windows in her barn-door 26-foot ceiling was having motorized shades, because she knew she couldn't get up there and close that window and protect herself from the summer sun. When you buy windows, make sure you know how you're going to close them, how you're going to get privacy, how you're going to keep the heat out or open it up. If you're doing these cute ovals or triangular windows or arch top, fake Palladian windows, think about how you're going to dress that window. How are you going to add curtains, shades? How are you going to protect Mother Nature from shining in when you're sitting there trying to watch TV through that transom window? Plan for how you're going to dress your windows. Or maybe you're not, but plan for it. Know in advance how the sun is going to affect the room that it comes in based on the windows that you choose. Think about privacy when you're placing your windows. We often do awning windows up high in a bathroom, so you can walk around naked, but nobody can see you. You know, keeping it at 54 inches, however tall you are. Think about how you're going to move in your space and be comfortable and feel safe. For instance, I had some clients that recently had floor-to-ceiling windows in their bathroom, opposite their toilet, facing out to the woods. They were comfortable with that. My nephew has floor-to-ceiling glass that faces out to Miami Beach when he goes to the bathroom. I don't know what to say about that. You gotta know, if you're comfortable with that, have at it. If you want privacy, this is gonna be an awning up high. So I got nothing but the windows that are opposite or close to your neighbors. In New York, when I design houses, sometimes you can be literally 11 feet from the next house. So you don't want to line your windows up with your neighbor. Get nosy. If you're building, I tell my clients all the time, go get your camera. Take pictures of your neighbor's house from all angles so we know where to put your windows and you don't end up looking at Joan having coffee when you're standing there in your PJs. There's two other big mistakes I see with the window placement, and they involve safety and just a pain in the ass mistake. First one, even contractors miss this all the time. If you want windows over your kitchen cabinet counters, they've got to be at a minimum 38 inches above the finished floor, not the subfloor, the finished floor. So if you add tile, add mud, do all this stuff, and they put these windows at 36 inches, when you come time to slide your cabinets in there and your countertop, it's going to sit above the window. At a minimum 38 inches, maybe 42, leave yourself some trim, some backsplash, whatever, but be mindful. How high? What is the AFF? You'll see some architects or engineers use that on the plans. Above the finished floor, not the subfloor. So which means you've got to know what kind of material is going on the floor, what substrate, how high it's going to bring it up. Windows on the second floor in kids' bedrooms, at a minimum, should be 36 inches above the finished floor. It's just a safety. It may be a code in your area. Some areas it's not, and you have to do a window guard. If you're building and you have a choice to keep your kids safe, put the window up higher and keep them safe. Get the light, do an awning window, keep the windows up high. I was working with this couple last night, and one of the things I saw was when they came into their master bedroom, they swung open the door, and right behind it was this lovely window. Make sure you check where your doors are going to swing, where your furniture is going to go. Is it going to block a window? What's the point of having a floor-to-ceiling window if I'm going to put a sofa in front of it? I walk at night all the time. I see all these people with these low windows in front, and then they've got their furniture sitting there that sits above it. I see the back of their sofa. You could have saved yourself a few bucks, made the window 42 inches, had the sofa sit below it, so your nosy neighbor doesn't see your design errors. When it comes to what kind of windows you're going to choose, you got to decide. You got to decide what's in your budget, what meets the local codes that you need to meet, and what looks nice. Down here in Florida, I went with these Marvin Elevate windows. They're gorgeous. They're wood on the inside. Beautiful. I'm very happy with them. I also had Andersen 400 series windows in my house in New York. What was more important to me was that the warranty was honored. Even after my dog destroyed the French doors, they came out and fixed it. Marvin is the same way. You want a company that's been around, that has local parts and service, and that's going to back up your purchase. This is a big deal. Windows get damaged when they get shipped. It's a pain in the ass when they get installed incorrectly. You want a company that's going to back you up and that you're going to be comfortable knowing that that giant, look at this. You want to be comfortable knowing this big giant hole, that big giant hole, that one over there. When a storm comes, I want to know that what I've chosen is not going to fail me. Look at that. Considering all of the other layout and furniture and cabinetry and how you want to live in the space, it's an important part of your design and it's gonna last. I just watched a video with Matt Reisinger, I'll link, where he talks about what to look for at the different price points, what's important, so that you get a good quality window regardless of what series you buy, what type of material, that you're getting the right window that fits your needs. Before you lay out and fall in love with your floor plan, create a light plan. How will you see the outdoors? How will you get little glimpses of Mother Nature? If you have no windows, how do you even know there's life outside your door? Getting little glimpses of sunshine is good for us. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. It's cold in Florida. It's really cold. Much colder if you're elsewhere. Suckers!